All right. Good evening, everyone. My name is Dana Chung. I am a member of KQED's Community Advisory Panel. We are a group of community members that supports KQED in community building. For those of you joining us for the first time, KQED is Northern California's PBS NPR member station. KQED Live is our new multi-platform events program that produces screenings, talks, performances, food tastings, based all on KQED's mission to inform, inspire, and involve. You can learn more at kqed.org/live. Do we have any KQED members here tonight? Anyone? Raise your hands. Hooray, that's awesome. Thank you so much for your support. You make everything that we do at KQED possible. And for those of you that are not yet members, if KQED brings value to your everyday life, I encourage you to consider becoming a KQED member. There are lots of benefits, including early access to events just like this one. You can learn more at kqed.org/donate. Finally, we want to thank the season sponsors that make KQED Live possible: Comcast Business, Genentech, and the San Francisco Symphony. We are so grateful for their commitment to supporting our mission of civic and cultural engagement in the Bay Area. All right, well, without further ado, we know that you are here to enjoy salsa in all of its various forms. From a flavorful way to top a delicious dish to a musical genre. Tonight, dip your chip in the salsas of Papalote, Casa Sanchez, and Kuali, and learn how Mexico's regional cuisines and the Bay Area's influence their craft. Please welcome our wonderful hosts tonight, KQED's food content producer, Josh DeColligan, and Blanca Torres, forum producer.
Hello.
Hi, everyone.
Welcome. Good evening. I'm Blanca Torres. I'm a producer with Forum and a reporter for KQED News.
And I'm Josh Decalongan. I'm the audience engagement producer for KQED Food. I work on a show called Check Please Bay Area and have an online series called No Crumbs. Thanks for being here tonight.
And coincidentally, we are also both the editors of two of KQED's newest newsletters, Que Onda, which centers the Latinx community, and The Sauce, which is about food.
And we have QR codes just in case you feel inspired to follow us during the event tonight.
Please subscribe. So tonight we are going to meet three amazing salsa makers who will share their unique takes on this staple food, along with their ingredients, their styles, the regional traditions that are behind their creations.
And afterwards, we'll also be enjoying some salsa music by band Bululu, and I'll be doing a small interview with a couple of band members as well. And I'm really excited for that because every holiday year, I travel and visit my family's family in Puerto Rico, and my salsa is not up to par. So if you see me try dancing tonight, no, you didn't. And the last thing I want to say is, I know this might seem obvious for a lot of us, but it is worth clarifying that salsa, the food, is deeply rooted in Mexican cuisine. But on the other hand, the dance and the music comes from a vibrant, Afro-Cuban, Puerto Rican, and Caribbean dance musical tradition. And one of my hopes today is not only to celebrate the richness of this pan-Latin American culture, but also to challenge the idea that Latin America, or even salsa, is not a monolith, right? So just like there's no one single salsa recipe, evidently by the salsas in front of you tonight, there's no one-size-fits-all Latin American experience. However, what the two salsa ideas that we're exploring today do share is this powerful sense of energy and this kind of kinetic improvisation, one which I do lack. However, salsa also, the food brings this kind of also bold kind of dynamism as well that creates something greater than the sum of its parts. So, without further ado, the shape of the night is basically we're going to first welcome our salsa makers and have sort of a discussion about their salsas, which you'll get to taste, of course. And then we'll have a demo of the flavors and the pairings that they suggest with each of their salsas. We're going to actually have a couple of volunteers come up and try the pairings as well. So if you're hungry, be sure to volunteer. And afterwards, we are going to have a salsa party as well, once our bellies are a little bit more full than they were. So yes, without further ado.
Yes, we'll start welcoming our panel. So the first panelist to come out is Victor Escovedo. He is a self-proclaimed culinary sociologist. He and his wife, Jody Hernandez, are the owners of Papalote Mexican Grill, and the truck and the salsa brand. So please welcome Victor, who is the CEO of Papalote.
Hola.
Okay, next we have Janine and Rodrigo Cruz, a husband and wife team who founded Kuali to bring the bold and authentic flavors of Mexico to the U.S. Rooted in their love for food culture and each other, their salsas capture the vibrant tastes of Rodrigo's Mexico City upbringing and Janine's first-generation Mexican-American roots. So let's welcome Janine and Rodrigo to the stage.
And our third panelist is Robert Sanchez. He's the third generation owner of Casa Sanchez Foods, which is known for their authentic tortilla chips and chunky salsas. A passionate community leader and mentor, he's been recognized with accolades such as the Most Admired CEO from the San Francisco Business Times, and he's active with several local organizations, including the Mission Cultural Center and St. Peter's School. While balancing family life and his leadership, he does it all. Welcome, Robert. So we want to hear a little bit more about these three companies that make salsa and basically their origin story. So tell us, how did you turn salsa into your business? You know, what inspired your salsas? Let's start with Victor.
I've avoided the restaurant business all my life, and that's the best recipe to open a restaurant. I immigrated here from Mexico City when I was 12, and we landed here in San Francisco because my aunt Celia opened Celia's restaurant in 1960. So from there, a whole bunch of families came and worked. I think at one point there were like 15 Celias. Now there's like 9 or 10. But one of the offshoots of Celia's is Papalote. So, you know, since I was 12, I was picking up dishes, washing dishes, you know, kitchen, and then being a food server, and now I've had a restaurant for 25 years.
And Papalote means?
Papalote means kite. We wanted to name it after the loteria cards. You know, we wanted to be el alacrán, la araña. My wife's like, that's too masculine. That's too, no. And so one of the guys who opened the restaurant with us brought some kites from Bali. So Papalote means kite. So the pasan el papalote, vamos a poner papalote aquí. We're like, whoa, Papalote. And then Jody goes, yes, Papalote is approved. So that's how, once Jody approves, then it happens.
Janine and Rodrigo?
Okay, so I'm also from Mexico City, born and raised, and I moved to the States when I was probably 24 years old. And then I remember moving here and trying all the salsas in here. It's like, well, why is nothing is spicy enough, like compared to Mexico City or compared to my mother's recipe, which that's all Kuali we make, my mother's recipes. So I used to cook with her for all my life next to her. And I remember calling my mother, hey, I cannot find your salsa in here. And she told me, hey, might as well do it yourself. So the time passed and I lost my mother, unfortunately. And for me, making her salsa is kind of like follow with the tradition of the family, and also emotional because I bring her memories into my life. And then I remember sharing with my wife, Janine, and it was the first time you try salsa matcha as well. And so she's like, oh my God, this is amazing. Why you just, you know, make more? And then I share with my friends and family, and people start making kind of asking me, hey, can you make more for me? I would buy some. So it kind of grew up very organically.
Totally. We were very much encouraged. I was encouraged by coworkers. I was working in the financial district. I was like, sure, you want to buy the salsa? They're like, yeah, you should do it on the weekends. I'm like, I do have a full-time job. But what we would do during
me
that
too.
time, 2019, like I would bring, we didn't even have a car back then. I would bring
I
the
remember.
cooler with me on BART, get jars of salsa to the office, put it in our office fridge with names, and everyone would just like Venmo me their money. And so it just became a side hustle. And then we officially kicked off in the pandemic.
Yes.
I had left my career, was trying to figure out what I was going to do. I was working in the social sector prior to that. And lo and behold, we went to Instagram. That's how we started. We just started putting it out there. And then next thing we knew, every Friday in downtown Oakland, we had people show up to our apartment to pick up jars of salsa.
Just
Here we
like
are.
that.
Wow, that's
And
amazing.
how about you, Robert? What inspired you
Well,
to start?
I wasn't born in Mexico. I was born in San Francisco. Thank you. So my story is I'm a third generation in the business. We have a fourth hopefully coming on board. But I grew up in the restaurant business and tortillerias. Came a point where you really can't make money making tortillas. We had bundles of tortillas that came up. What do we do with it? We started cutting them up and put them in little bags and make chips. That's what we did. You put the chips, our first customer, whoever remembers, is Bell Market on 24th Street, the very first customer we ever had. Now the store's okay, you got the chips, but hey, and I got the beer, but how about the salsa? Oh, let's give it a try. So we got a little plastic container, put some salsa on there, send it out, and that's where it started. It started in San Francisco. We're based 3 generations, and we just love what we do every single day, and that's the start of our Casa Sanchez. Thank you.
Great, amazing. So why don't we dig a little bit more into, how a little bit deeper into salsa and kind of talk about, the ingredients and, where, how everything comes together. So why don't we start with you, Victor?
So Papalote salsa is a continuation of what my late tia Celia created, which pretty much when you go to someone's house, they have one salsa, right? So you go to your tia's house, the salsa that she makes, and that's the concept with Celia's, one salsa for the house, which represents the house. Papalote salsa became the salsa that we created based on her ingredients to enhance the flavor of our main concept. We're a burrito place, not a taqueria, and when we opened Papalote, people would say, I would go to your taqueria. I'm like, it's not a taqueria because I didn't want them to expect like boiled meats like tongue, eyeball, cheek, this and that. It's like, hey, it's a Mexican grill. So I think I coined the term Mexican grill just so that people wouldn't expect that kind of stuff. So carne asada to me as a Chilango, it means steak, salt and pepper, and just let it cook. Now, carne asada mainstream is like super marinated meat, and oh, my marinade for carne asada, I'm like, what the heck are you talking about? Anyway, so Papalote salsa is made, one of the things is that it's made in California. Oh, that's me.
And I just, really quickly, I know we're getting hungry with all the food descriptions, so as he's talking about, you can now open the salsa. So
Yes,
Papalote.
mine is a creamy one. Mine
Yes.
is a creamy one. The salsa matcha that they make has the oil one.
Not the oil.
Yeah. So Papalote has ingredients from California. So from California, the recipe is from San Francisco. We get the garlic from Gilroy, tomatoes from the valley, from Santanella, and onions from Oxnard. So everything is local. The recipe, like I said, is from Papalote, and we make it in Sonoma, right? So having that base, the tomato, garlic, and onion, which is like a mother sauce in Western cooking, we have 4 varieties of pepper. And what I decided to do was to represent Mexico with our peppers that we have from Mexico. So in the north, from Mexico, that's when you switch the slide. From Mexico, yeah, okay, very good. We didn't. So in the north, very close to Texas, Arizona, you have the chile seco. The serrano tomatillo represents el occidente, western Mexico, Michoacán, Jalisco, carnitas. A green salsa will always go great with that. Chipotle is from Chilangolandia, it's Azteca, and habanero is from Yucatan. So it's a mother sauce made with local products, local produce, and 4 different types of peppers representing Mexico.
Great. Amazing. What do we think so far with that first taste? Great? Amazing.
Yeah.
Great. Okay, let's move
Are
on.
they supposed to clap or thumbs up or one of these? Because there's
Well, they're eating. They can't
okay.
eat.
Oh, yeah.
It'll be the crunch, you know. That'll be the applause.
Right.
Okay, so same. Like, let's talk a little bit about the ingredients and salsa matcha. So the salsa matcha is the one that has the sesame and the oil. So when we talk a little bit about that and the inspiration and the kind of uniqueness behind that.
Okay. Can I ask them a question by raise of hand?
Of course.
How many of you in the audience have actually tried salsa matcha? Doesn't have to be ours. Oh, I love it. Okay,
Right.
quite a few, yeah. So we were just looking up today, like just statistically in the US, there's a lot of folks who may know about it. About 30% of the US may know what it is, but like less than 20% has actually tried a salsa matcha. And so I do think that this salsa is a little newer to the market. It was one of the salsas that Rodrigo made for me. I grew up, my parents are from Baja California. So I grew up with a different set of salsas, but when I tried this one, I was like, whoa, like this is so unique. I immediately thought, because I grew up in the US, of like Chinese food, and sometimes when I get the chili oil, right? And I didn't know that this salsa existed in Mexico. And so I'll let Rodrigo talk
Yeah.
about the uniqueness of this one.
So originally the salsa matcha is from Veracruz, Orizaba, Veracruz. But right now you can find it like all over the country. Also Oaxaca is really good, on Mexico City as well. It's a lot of different recipes. The characteristics about this salsa is it lasts forever, and also it's a mix of different peppers. And also you can mix with some seeds or nuts or even dry fruits. So in that case, Kuali, we have two flavors. One is the Clásica, is made with pumpkin seeds, sesame seeds.
That's the one you're trying.
Yes, that's the one on the table. The second one is a little more spicy and is made with peanuts only. The ingredients is a blend of Mexican peppers, garlic, salt, and grapeseed oil, cold press. So that's some of the flavors that you can try. We like to use grapeseed oil because it's high temperature and it's no flavor or smell.
And take your time with
Yeah.
it. I do hear a little bit of coughing. I hope you all have a little water, a little drink.
Yes.
We're getting a coughing ovation over here. That's
And then the last thing I'll add,
Yep.
Rodrigo did win the 2024 Good Food Award for this salsa, so we're very proud of that this year.
Yes.
Both for our sourcing of ingredients, but also the way we operate our business and with equitable business practices. So
It's a national competition. So,
now we can move on.
yes, go ahead.
Okay.
Okay. So, you're going to be trying the fresh roasted salsa accompanied by the Casa Sanchez chips. The chips, as you will see, are made in our facility in Hayward. Originally, they came from our tortilla factory on Fillmore Street in San Francisco. We outgrew the facility, had to move to three different locations. Today, it's an award-winning tortilla chip, and accompany our salsa fresca. We make a variety of different salsas, 13 salsas, five different kinds of chips. We take pride in everything we do. So we are in the hub of the best produce in the world. Here in Northern California, anything you want fresh, it's available. So we strive to get the absolute best ingredients available to make our salsas, which are fresh. So we go through a cold chain that everything comes in fresh every morning, 2 o'clock in the morning. We make it by the very next day. We could ship it out to the supermarket, getting into a shopping cart within 48 hours. And so that's what we strive to do, along with our tortilla chips. So what you have today is our fresh roasted salsa. We have manually roasted tomatoes and peppers, ground to a point where it has the finest, and it has to be matched with the Casa Sanchez chips. And so both combinations make the best for you. You're looking at a photo here of the facility on California Street. The person on the left is my dad. Around 1935, the building is still there. If you could see the original, how they made tortillas, and the same process exists today, the theory behind making tortillas, except now it's massive equipment. It's all computerized. This is my grandfather there in San Francisco, and he originated with what's called a Mexicatessen. So as he came in through Texas and ended up in San Francisco, he had the skill of working with his hand with leather goods and making cheese and foods, and that was a passion he had. So from early on, we love making food. It's been a part of our history, part of our culture. along with other salsa makers here. We love doing what we do, and we would take pride in bringing this to the market with our salsas. That's my grandfather. That's my aunt, and in the middle, my grandmother. My grandmother on the left there ended up she was 100 years old. She died a couple years ago. So, and the reason that she lasted that long is because she had salsa every day of her life. So,
Fountain of youth.
so
Eat
there's
up,
benefits to
everyone.
that. Other than it tastes good, it could be a longevity for life. But we love what we do, and it's a continuation of the passion here, and hopefully you enjoy it. Thank you. Yeah.
So let's talk a little bit about the heat levels. You know, when I was growing up, I was kind of scared of my mom's chile because it was very spicy, and there's a verb in Spanish, enchilastes, enchilar, which means like it's so spicy you're like in pain. And now like that's kind of like sometimes you want that. You want that little like wake me up, I'm alive feeling. So talk about just, you know, is salsa supposed to be spicy, or like how do you decide like what's the right heat level? Kuali, do you want to start us
Well,
off?
I think, of course, I remember my mother used to tell me, it's like, if it's not spicy, it's not salsa, okay? So it has to be. So that's why when I noticed some of the salsa, well, lately now it's like the heat level in the US, I think is getting better. I think it's getting better. Or if not, I mean, we can probably kind of help on that stuff. And then it all depends. For example, you Victor, were mentioning the habanero is from Yucatan area. In one of the pictures, we make habanero salsa as well. I think in Kuali, we make everything spicy. The one that you try right now is the less spicy of the whole line. So actually, by the way, we have some the fresh ones over there, so later we can try some a little bit.
The only thing I'll add that I think as a maker that I really admire about you is there's like this fine line between like the balance of flavor and heat. For me, that's like a good salsa, like sí que pique, you know, que te enchiles, but also
It's
like
spicy,
that
but
gives you flavor, right? It doesn't overpower
Flavor.
what you're pairing it with, because there's times where salsa is just spicy, and so it kills your palate.
Yes.
And so we take you up there with
Yes.
heat, but we're
But the
going to
flavor.
deliver with flavor,
That's
and
important.
then it'll complement.
Yes.
Robert?
So, heat level. Well, maybe, but it's agreed that you want a good salsa, period. Hot or not hot, okay. Some days you want it hot, some days you don't. It maybe depends on what beverage you have with you on the left hand. So we make a variety of salsas. Some are hot, some are not. I think where the trend is going, supposedly, is for hot, 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 hot. Okay, we can do that, but you want to taste the pureness, the flavor. You want to taste the tomato, the pepper, the garlic, the salt that's in there. You want to taste all that as you absorb the salsa in your palate, and different taste buds get kicked into place. So it's a combination of not just heat, but just all the different ingredients that go in there to make a very complete, mouth-watering, very tasteful experience in your mouth, along with the chips, along with the company, along with the conversation, along with the movie, whatever you're doing. It's a kickstart for what's going to be happening in your life for that particular moment. So,
Yeah.
Victor,
what about you,
anything to
Victor?
add?
Well, the way I see salsa is hot, or the heat is pain. And that is, I mean, it's pain, and that pain sets off endorphins, and it makes you enjoy food in a different way. So the salsa is a vehicle to deliver flavor to the taste buds, and also the level of pain that you're gonna be receiving to like get that whole experience, right? So when I made the 4 varieties of Papalote salsa, the original has to be that anybody can eat it, from kids to anyone in the family who comes and sits down at Papalote. Everybody can enjoy it. From there, when I created the salsas for retail, I just added flavor and whatever the heat level, that's what it was. I didn't set out to make a hot, medium, mild. It was like Papalote salsa with red chilies is like a medium. Serrano tomatillo is going to be a medium as well, because Serrano is kind of spicy. Habanero, I got the flavor and the heat that goes with it. And then Chipotle has 2 chipotles. Chipotle is a dry jalapeno. So dry chipotle, and then chipotle in adobo, which is the sauce that you get. So it's about flavor and whatever pain each variety delivers, right?
It's like my mouth keeps watering the more we talk about it. I'm just like, oh my God.
Like, how come I'm not
I'm already
eating salsa?
sweating, I feel, just like talking about it. So before we move on to our next section, I kind of want to just open it up to everybody here. We talked a little bit about flavor and your, kind of your origins and the inspiration, but I kind of want to ask the big question here. Why is salsa so important to the culture?
I'd like to say, first of all, that I'm really happy to be here with you sharing the stage. And we are not companies trying to get a piece of the pie, because if you look at the shelves, everybody's having a salsa. Everybody has a salsa. Just like everyone has a tequila, now everybody's trying to make a salsa. But it is our culture. It's a San Francisco, where were burritos born? Could be San Francisco, could be Texas, could be San Diego. But the fact is, our culinary expertise, we are committed to one thing, which is salsa. And that's how we deliver our culture, from 100 years of generations making the salsa to new immigrants trying to share our culture. So salsa is really culture, tradition, and our family, our parents, that's the vehicle.
Yeah.
So who here has made a salsa at home? How many? Okay. See how unique salsa is. We have quite a few employees ourselves. Each family makes salsa too. So there's so much variety of salsa out there. You're just getting a sampling of what our passion is and bring it to you. So salsa can be made with just about any vegetable, any fruit, and any combination could be coarse, fine. But we love what we do, and we bring our passion to you, to the public. So it's a condiment that can go with just about any time, anywhere, as long as it's with good company. Okay, so that's fine.
Okay, personally, if every single meal that I have at home or anywhere, I always add some salsa. If not, I feel like I'm not eating. So if it's not salsa, well, I'll bring a little pepper in my pocket. And I do that.
Yeah.
So it's a compliment that just elevate the flavor of all kinds of food. For example, salsa matcha we pair with ice cream too, or fruits, mango, pineapple, or green salads, or as a marinade. I mean, everything elevates and tastes better with spicy food, like always, no matter what. Yeah.
And we're going to get to see that a little bit later as well. I'm really excited for that. Go
Can
ahead.
I add one thing?
Of course.
I think there's something just sacred in our culture when it comes to salsas and going into a Mexican home, sitting at the table, breakfast, lunch, dinner, snacks, because we have also put it on chips, like doraditas and todo.
Yeah.
So there's just something so sacred about, having that at our tables with every meal and sharing that. And, now I know for all of our salsas, people buy and take to gatherings. And, it's you're all sitting here today. What brought you here today was this conversation on salsa. So I think that's beautiful that these three companies right here on stage are preserving that part of our culture, and we get to share that out.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So on that note, now that we've gotten a chance to kind of hear about our salsa makers and try them as well, we kind of wanted to leave it open if anybody had any questions, and we'll take a question or two if anybody has any.
And there's people walking around with microphones. So.
Absolutely.
Okay, let's start with the Santa hat.
The question is generally, how do you make the salsa consistent, the heatness year to year? Is there some scientific method of doing that, or please, anyone can comment on that?
For us, it's sometimes inconsistent because we're pretty much at the stake of whatever the pepper has to be. You can get a field of peppers, north versus south, could have different heat levels, and the heat level changes during duration of the life of the salsa. So it could be hot today and mild in 2 days and hotter after that, because for us it's a fresh produce, and so it's fresh product. So
Sometimes where places that we source our peppers, remember, it's like a grape. Some seasons of the year, in the summertime, the same pepper, the same produce of family growers, the same pepper tastes different. If it's summertime, it's more spicy. When it's winter, it the heat goes a little lower. So even though I need to adjust every single time. Every batch is different.
Yeah.
As you can tell, I mean, in the label, we mentioned the batch number. Sometimes it's a little different, sometimes it's not. Even though I try to make the same way, it changes. But it's part of the game, I think.
If you grow your own peppers, I suggest you grow them in a pot, because what makes it hot is the sun. And so some people say like, oh, look at my peppers, they're really hot. And it's like, oh, it's not that hot. Well, it's because the sun is not hitting it. So you want to rotate your pepper. And also when you're ready to harvest, you cut the water a little bit, and that stresses the plant, and it sends all of its remaining life to the fruit, to the children, right? So that makes hotter peppers. So the more you learn about the heat of the pepper, the more you know that it's so unpredictable that anything could happen. And so I made the mistake of putting the little flame-o-meter about heat level, and sometimes it's like, yeah, so Papalote salsa, the house salsa, is supposed to be mild. For a while, we were like, holy jeez, what the heck is this? You know? People were like, what are you doing over here? You know,
You were mad when you made it.
Yeah, no, I was never mad. Every day is another day in paradise making sense.
So that's really cool how we give so much credence to wine and how complex it is from year to year. But if we were to able to change, the attitudes with salsas and also talk about the complexities about the different years that we have all these different flavors, that's so cool, right?
That's a fine vintage.
Exactly.
There you go.
No, for real. Except instead of this, I'll be like, it's like really hot.
That's a fine vintage.
Yeah, exactly. We have time for, I think, one more question.
Okay, I have two questions. My first question is, how did you come up with the name Kuali? And then my second question is, what is your favorite pairing, each of you, with your salsa? Your favorite food pairing?
Yeah. Okay, so the name Kuali is indigenous word from the Aztec culture in Nahuatl. It means bueno. So my dad helped us with the name. He speaks a little bit. He lives in Oaxaca. And I remember calling my dad, hey, Dad, like, I want to make my mother recipe, so I know you speak a little bit of that. I'm looking for a word that represents our culture. So he's like, okay, call me in 5 minutes. Well, he called me back in 2, and he said, hey, name me Kuali. I was like, Kuali, what is that? He said, it's bueno. So buena salsa, good salsa. So I think it's part of it, like, it's easy to pronounce, easy to remember. I think it looks great. It sounds great too. Kuali, everybody can say it, so it's cool. But yeah, it's indigenous word.
And in terms of that second question, I think we're going to talk a little bit more about those flavors once we do the demos. But I love that question, and we're going to make sure we answer it. So thank you for those questions. And we're going to dig a little bit deeper into each of these salsas as we do the demo. But for now, we're going to move on to the next section, talking about these food pairings. So first, I'm going to start with Kuali, and we're going to move over to the table over there, and then we'll do them one by one. Okay. So awesome. Let's give another hand to these salsa makers.
Llegó el vacilón en plena misión. Ruby. No. Aquí en Dolores Park me instalo yo. Chilling like a villain, Mongo.
Vale. Okay.
Sorry. Please. Yeah, of course.
Okay.
So one thing I wanted to mention as well before we start into this is Kuali was the first salsa matcha that I had ever tasted at I think it was like a craft fair at Fort Mason a couple years ago, and I'm having such a cool full circle moment introducing them on stage for you folks. So so here we go. So before we get into this pairing, I want to know, just from that last question, a little bit more about the hummingbird and the inspiration that you personally have to your salsa and Kuali.
Well, the reason why it's a hummingbird, it represents my mother. She always told me the story every time you see a hummingbird. It's someone from the other side is taking care of you, bring you love. And in the first moment, I thought, like, I might probably call the salsa Meli, that's her name, and probably think about her picture that I have on the table over there. But I thought it was probably too tacky. So I was like, okay, I need something that represents my mother. So I thought about the hummingbird. I was like, okay, you know what? Let's do a hummingbird. And also, sometimes, as you know, you forget names, but you never forget about the image. So easy to remember. And funny thing is sometimes in the streets, it's like some folks is like, hey, it's the hummingbird guys or the Kuali salsa guys, whatever, because they notice that it's a hummingbird. And also it's a colibri. Colibri also is a alebrije from Oaxaca. So it's kind of the whole combination is my mother, my dad, and the whole family here.
Afterlife,
Yeah.
I love that. It's like a reflection of you and your ancestors.
It
That's
is.
amazing. So this is a bit of a two-parter here. So I want to ask, first of all, what we have here, and second of all, like what is, for those of you who haven't tried it, because I'm also relatively new to salsa matcha, and I know that you have a secret process behind
Yeah,
it.
don't ask.
We'll talk later. I'm just kidding. But yeah, tell me a little bit about what pairing you have today and what the process is behind making salsa matcha. What sets it apart? What's different about it?
You wanna go?
Yeah, so salsa matcha, and we have a lot of folks who will come up to our tastings and ask, like, is that a salsa? But there's oil. So I think, you will, in the US market, I think we've seen very traditional. So right here, we even have like a creamy avocado salsa, like those roasted salsas, whether they're green or red. But for the salsa matcha, so oil-based, I think what sets salsa matcha apart by makers is the blend of peppers that they choose to use, which is the forbidden question tonight of what peppers are in our salsa matcha. Often found paired with nuts or seeds. So for example, we have the one you tried, the pumpkin seeds, the sesame seeds. The spicier version, which you can try later, is with peanuts, with cacahuate, and that'll bring more heat. It's a completely different blend of pepper. And then sometimes makers will add dried fruit to them, a mix of the seeds and the nuts, and like you had mentioned, the origins in Veracruz, and then also I would say in Oaxaca. And so tonight we wanted to pair the salsa matcha. Can I mention these other salsas?
Absolutely, please, yes.
Do you want to talk about the
Yeah, so we have a salsa cruda. It's a tomatillo base with a blend of peppers. In all salsas, we play with peppers. In only one, it's just a combo of different ones. What I understand, or I learned from my mother, she told me, some peppers give you flavor, some other gives you heat. When you combine, you have magic. So that's what it is. So the salsa verde is a tomatillo base with chunks of avocado. It's super fresh. You can also pair with as a salad dressing. It's very, particularly, it's very special in Mexico City. That's most of the restaurants they have taquerias. In here, maybe I cannot find it the same way. So it's pretty cool.
And I would say also, I think we have enough for people to maybe try later.
Yeah, we have some.
What's very unique about what you taste with this salsa, even if you smell it, if I give you like a little whiff of it,
right now.
it's raw. So the ingredients in this salsa are completely raw, and then he dices in the avocado at the end, so you get the fresh avocado chunk with like the fresh, tomatillo and everything. So I think that's very unique versus what's right next to it. Similar ingredients, but made very differently, and this is our creamy avocado, where the avocado is blended into that salsa.
You guys are killing me. I'm so hungry. I didn't eat dinner.
And then,
A little comment too.
go ahead.
Interesting that in Mexico City, the green is the spicy, not the red. That's mostly more common. In the north of the country, normally it's the red, which is always the spicy. Over here, it's like the red is the spicy, so everybody's going for the green. We are the opposite. I'm the opposite. I go with the green, the spiciest, and the red maybe it's spicy, but maybe not as much.
So you gotta need to know where you are to be able to tell. Okay, so you can't always rely on the color. Okay.
No, and then anytime you come up to our tastings, we'll ask you like, how's your heat level? Are you okay with some heat?
Give me the green because it's not spicy. No, actually, it's a spicy one.
Actually, yeah.
And so tonight we're pairing the salsa with from Don Ají is a local restaurant here to San Francisco. It's a Oaxacan family that owns it. We have both a tlayuda here. I don't know how you see it on screen. Okay, there's a tlayuda here, and then off to in front of it are two memelas. So I think on the memelas, I believe there's like some mushroom on there and some black beans. I think we'll pair it with the salsa verde cruda.
Yeah,
so we'll leave that ready, and then someone will get to try this later.
Yeah, who's the lucky one?
Yeah, so just remember.
So show of hands, who's had a tlayuda before? Anybody here? Oh, wow, amazing. So can we talk a little bit about what these dishes, if you were to describe them?
Yeah.
You want to start with the tlayuda?
Yeah.
Okay, the tlayuda is like a corn tortilla, kind of like a tostada. It's a base of beans with cheese, and in this case it's tasajo or chorizo. It's a combo. A little bit of avocado and quesillo, which is the famous queso in Oaxaca. It's like a string cheese, hard to get in here. And
then
some
the
tomato. And the memelas is also like a thick tortilla with mushrooms, salsa, and beans, I believe.
And they do the asiento.
And they do the asiento. The asiento is like the lard, just to add a little more flavor of it.
And I also kind of want to ask, I love how you folks have a sense of place with, your pairings and your salsas. But just to go to your question over there, if you were to, so I'm the kind of person who loves to kind of put different sauces from different parts of the world onto different foods and kind of do some mixing and matching. So if you were to also put these salsas on, kind of international, globally inspired foods, how would you pair it? I know you mentioned ice cream earlier.
Yeah.
Which blows my
Salsa
mind.
matcha, I will pair with spaghetti, right? Seafood, steaks, chicken. I will use it on even Chinese, of course, or Asian. I go with everything, honestly.
I was gonna say it kind of reminds me of like chili oil, like the kind of Asian version. So I'm like, I wonder if I can,
For sure. We
Also-
always say they're cousins,
Yeah,
'cause it has its history and, Asian culture, and then this has its history in Mexico. One of the pairings that we actually have that you can all try if you're ever in Oakland is at Poppy's Bagels. So it's funny, we spent a couple months in Mexico, and the only thing I missed food-wise from the U.S. was like a good bagel. I don't know, it was just random. And so when I went back to Poppy's, I was telling her that, and she's like, why don't we try doing a pairing with your salsa matcha? So on her menu, her signature salsa is paired with like avocado, micro cilantro, radish, and I believe a drizzle
And
of the salsa matcha.
the cream cheese too, and the cream cheese. So it
So
gets
that's
a nice combo.
that's not traditional by any means, but I think it's a beautiful mixture of American culture and Mexican
But of course, pizza, of course, hot dogs. I mean, you name it. I will dip my fries on it. I will do
Well, that's the thing.
Everything,
That's the thing
everything.
I love is that we often see tradition and sometimes innovation as opposite from each other, but you can enjoy it at the same time, right? You can enjoy something that's very of your history and of your place, and kind of change it up as well, and everybody has fun. Everybody wins. Keep your eyes on if there's anybody who does want to try, just keep these dishes in mind. We will move on to our next other two folks here with Bianca, but let's have another round of applause for Kuali. Put it off to the side here.
Llegó el vacilón en plena misión. Ruby.
Perfect. And then we'll put the big plate on the side as well.
Chilling like a villain, Mongo.
Okay, so our next demonstration is with Papalote. So welcome Victor Escobedo another time to the stage.
Did you introduce me already? Hello, everybody. Wow,
Okay.
what a guy.
So Victor, what do you want people to really know about your company and the salsa that you make?
I want to share that I used to be a language teacher. I love languages because of the trauma of when I was a little kid. So I learned English in the 7th grade and 8th grade from my Iranian friends. I was Persian for the first 2 years of my stay here because all the other kids wanted to speak Spanish. I could have been a translator. I could have been a stand-up comic. I could have been a drummer. I could have been all these things. But I ended up making food. And making food is something that as soon as you create it, the judge is right there. People are going to take it and judge you and say like, yeah, this is good or this is bad. So making salsa is what I ended up doing. And It's something that it gives me a lot of pride and satisfaction because it's a day in, day out thing. And just like when we opened the restaurant at 11, the first person who comes in, you're like, thank God that somebody came in. And the main thing, I'm not a business person, so it should be about money, but it isn't. It's about me going to the store and seeing someone walk by with a jar of Papalote salsa in their cart. And that to me is the goal.
Beautiful. Well, let's see the magic here.
What is this? Whose is this?
This is for the tasting that
Oh, the
we'll do
tasting.
after
Okay,
the
okay,
demonstration. So
okay.
now it's your turn to add
Okay.
a dish
Yes.
to the tasting menu.
I'm very territorial when it comes to salsa.
Okay, so you,
And it's
yes.
right here.
And Papalote.
I'm a little bit nervous. Okay, let me set it up beautifully so that everybody can enjoy.
So who's been to Papalote? It's, yes, of course. So it's a,
By round of applause. Okay, yeah. This is not. This was not very. But anyway, thanks. Thank you.
yes, it's not too far from where we're at right now. And so Victor, as you're setting up, tell us about, your line of varieties in your salsa brand. Like, what do you?
Well, first of
what's
all,
on the shelf?
thank you for calling it varieties and not flavors because, as I was saying, Papalote salsa, I realized that what Tia Celia had created was the mother sauce ingredients for a red sauce, which is tomato, garlic, and onion. That's what they have simmering at most restaurants. When you, like an Italian restaurant, they have that sauce, and then they add basil or chili pepper or whatever, seeds or whatever. So this is a mother sauce, and it has 4 varieties of pepper. It showcases 4 varieties of pepper. I pretty much, in 2010, we beat Bobby Flay in a throwdown, and he said the salsas. Thank you. Come on, go ahead and you started clapping. Okay, thank you. I stepped on the. Okay, and so he said the salsa is a secret weapon, and I was like, oh, this is so cool. So we went from the restaurant to the shelves, and I didn't know how to do that. So when you look at the UPC code, you look at the ingredients and all that, and how do I know that this has 5 ounces of this, and I learned all that. I got a co-packer, and then we went to stores, and people liked it. Whole Foods really helped us out, and then they asked me to make some more varieties. And then when I realized that this was a great venue to showcase all these varieties, then I added Serrano Tomatillo, and then habanero, and then last, the 4th variety is Chipotle.
Great. And tell us about what you will be serving today.
Okay, so Papalote salsa really pairs well with burritos. So, because it was made for the burritos, right? So I have a carne asada burrito and a chicken burrito. And so you can see how delicious that looks as I place it with the camera.
You've got rice,
Appreciate.
you've got beans.
Yeah, so it's really simple, right? So rice, beans, and grilled chicken, grilled steak. That's the main thing. That's our best seller. And I hate numbers, people, and I hate the word bestseller, but that's what's more popular, right? Again, it's a Mexican grill, and it's all based on grilled steak, grilled tortilla, from grill to tortilla. See what I did there?
Yes.
Okay. So,
And so when you're ordering a burrito, do you want your salsa in the burrito or you want it separate?
okay.
Or is it personal choice?
If you go to the restaurant, you get your burrito, one of these things of salsa, and chips. Some people say, hey, how come you're charging me 50 cents for my second thing of salsa, Victor? And what I say is, because times are hard. However, if you say, could I have it hot? It doesn't mean it's going to be spicy. It's going to be that we're going to put Papalote salsa inside the burrito, and you're still going to get your 2-ounce serving of Papalote salsa. So it's a win-win situation. That's what I'm trying to say. So that's pretty much it. Steak, rice, beans, and pico de gallo. That is the essence of a burrito. And then from there, you can make it super, just like any taqueria, sour cream, cheese, or guacamole, which is only $2.99 at Papalote. Can you believe that? Am I insane over
I
here?
actually can't.
Yes,
That's
thank
less than $3.
Yeah.
In 2024.
Yeah,
Unbelievable.
Yeah, exactly. So you can at Papalote you can have lunch or dinner for less than $20. There. Thank you. You're welcome, everybody.
And pico de gallo, talk about that because some people don't know what pico de gallo is.
Pico de gallo in my family is jicama, cucumber, and orange with chili powder. That's the original pico de gallo. When I moved here, when I came from my country, it's tomato, onion, cilantro, squeeze of lime, and that's it, right? Is that how you make pico de gallo? By round of applause?
No chile? No jalapeno?
Oh, yeah, you can do jalapeno. Sorry. You can do some jalapeno. So, yeah, this is what I'm offering. It's papalote salsa. And what you're going to be tasting is the salsa that we make at the restaurant. That's what you're tasting right now. The salsa that was made at the restaurant, we just made that today. It takes us about 3 hours to make the salsa every day, roasting the tomatoes and cooking everything else so that it has that special secret orange color.
And so is it blended? Are you getting a smooth texture or tell us about your texture?
Okay, so yes, it is blended and we roast the tomatoes, then we add the garlic, the onion, the peppers, and something else that I can't remember what it is, but it's really important and I can't tell you. But it's all, actually, it's all right here. So the ingredients for papalote salsa at the restaurant and clearly in the jar, it's all here. It's tomato, garlic, and onion. And yeah, that's right. Yeah, it's all there. Yep.
So it sounds very simple.
Yeah, and it's all blended at the end.
How do you develop like this unique flavor?
I'm trying to avoid the question.
Oh, okay.
No, it's really from making everything fresh, roasting the tomatoes. Another tip, if you guys want to make salsa with roasted tomatoes, or broil them or whatever, do not cut them. I hate to see people cut their tomatoes and cook them like that because all you're doing is evaporating the juices inside, right? So get Roma tomatoes. They're very resilient and very, as you cook them, they stay pretty firm. And do not open them. The tomato will tell you when it's ready, when it starts dancing, when it starts leaking and all that. Okay, you've had enough. Don't cut them. That's all I'm saying. There's several secrets that I will tell you next time on Salsa Showdown.
Okay, thank you, Victor. This looks delicious.
Thank you so much.
Llegó el vacilón en plena misión. Ruby.
And so now we will have our third demonstration with Robert Sanchez and Linda Renteria of Casa Sanchez.
Buenas noches, buenas tardes. Is it on?
Okay,
Yeah.
yes, you are.
Yeah. Buenas noches. We're gonna make some room
So
for food.
as you start preparing your demonstration, tell us, your company has been making salsa for a very long time, longer than you've been alive, right?
Correct.
So how, what's evolved over time? What's changed and what is not going to change?
The way we make it has not changed. Where the ingredients come from haven't changed. There's more technology, a little more sophistication, but the ingredients are basic, home, true, local, and there's nothing that other than that goes into our salsas. And that's really basic, the simple ingredients.
I did want to add a piece to the conversation because I'm operations, he's sales and marketing. And you can tell that, oh yeah, sometimes the salsa is too hot, too mild. No, we do make the effort because they are correct. The chiles do come in different variety of spiciness, but we check the batch before, when we're making it, and then to adjust the recipe so that it is consistent when you receive it, hopefully as much as possible. But
Great, thank you. So tell us about what you will be demonstrating today.
So the pairing for us, as you can see, as you've heard, chips and salsa. That is the pairing. And people tell us what they really enjoy, which one they enjoy. We have 6 varieties of chips, and we have them at the table so you can see some of the varieties that we have. and we have about 13 salsas. So people try combining them. They try different different chips, and we're highlighting our picosos chip, which is a habanero lime chip, and it hits you at the end when you're talking about spicy. So people at first they bite it and they say, "Oh yeah, what? Nah, the spicy," and then all of a sudden, so our customers love combining it with our taqueria avocado creamy salsa. And we are also going to highlight our guacamole salsa with the chunky salsa. But with the taqueria avocado, because of the coolness of it, the smoothness of it, it goes really well with the habanero. And once that little bite hits you at the end, you want more taqueria avocado and more habanero chip. So we're going to highlight that one. Then the other one is our chunky guacamole. Is very famous because it is very consistent, very tasty, and with a thick chip. And our thick chip, all of our chips can handle the chunky guacamole, but the thick chip seems to be a favorite with our consumers, our customers, and in the company too.
So we do have 13 salsas and quite a few chips. It's not a problem combining 2 or 3 at once. You could put this salsa, that salsa, and they marry them together, a whole new salsa you created. You'd never duplicate it again, but that's what you try again and again. Have different variations, combinations, and different kinds of chips, so can't go wrong with that.
And Linda would like everyone to notice that her earrings are avocados to go with the pairing here today. And so, you know, Casa Sanchez is a beloved Bay Area brand. I see you everywhere, like local stores, Safeway, Costco. So how have you been able to grow and get your product out there?
The key to our success is our people, our staff. They love what we do. They're passionate about the product just like we are. We're a husband and wife team. We care about everything we do. We care about our people, our staff. And no salsa or chips leaves our facility if we wouldn't have it ourselves. Nothing but absolute best leaves our facility, and that's it. We just care about what we do, and so that's the ingredient for our success. Yeah.
Yeah.
So our kids live, 2 of our 3 kids moved to the East Coast. This is the one thing they want us to ship all the time. But trust me, salsa is very expensive to ship. So I'd rather just fly over and take it to them.
So then your products are pretty much Bay Area or throughout California? Like where can...
We do have some national distribution, and but this is our home. This is our base. We're from here. We make sure that every consumer that is within driving distance gets the absolute best. But this is what we've tried to take care of our home base, yeah.
Yes, and let's talk a little bit more about texture because you described your salsas as chunky. So you want that texture versus the more smooth or, you know, very like liquidy salsa. So talk about like texture and how that, you know, plays a role in the experience of having your salsa.
Well, you tasted the salsa on the table, which is the fresh roasted. And those are the roasted tomatoes. That is my mother's recipe. Some of the other salsas, the mild, the roja, medium, and the hot, and the green salsa were the original salsas that came from Zacatecas, from his side of the family. But again, when we're doing a salsa, the testing takes about a year to develop a salsa. And as you can see with the guacamole, it is a very chunky guacamole. It was intentional to do it that way. We tested guacamole. Oh my God. I tasted some of the worst guacamole in my life. And again, this took about 12 to 14 months to develop the recipe, and we were all happy with it.
Right.
So, but again, we are all, we try it, we make sure that we would buy it ourselves. And yes, our employees do buy the salsa they make.
And it starts with sourcing the absolute best ingredients. We want avocados that will be available now, 6 months, and a year from now. That way there's consistency. When you get it today, we want to be sure it's the same type of product you're going to get a year from today. And there's a cold chain. We want to be sure that goes through the process for us to the shopping cart. That's going to be consistent. It gets there fresh for you. So, yeah.
Great. And so for each of you, tell us about like, you know, what is your favorite salsas that you make? Like, do you have your favorite breakfast salsa, your favorite lunch salsa, dinner salsa? Like, what are some of your favorites and why?
So for me, the fresh roasted is one of the favorites because I grew up with fresh roasted. And again, I think you mentioned it, Blanca, that in your house, you didn't call it salsa. It was chile. The first time I had salsa in America, I was in my I think, at 25 or something like. Someone invited me to a party and said, "We made salsa," and I said, "What?" They threw tomatoes and onions and all this stuff, and they said, "This is salsa," and I go, "No, this is chile. It's just chile sauce that my mother makes." But the fresh roasted we've used with chili beans. It makes a really good base for chili beans, and it also is very good with pork, sauteed pork. But the other favorite that I have is the taqueria avocado. It makes great enchiladas or eggs for breakfast.
For me, I'll start with the first beverage and go backwards. So on weekends, I think, and who likes Bloody Marys? How about a bloody margarita with Casa Sanchez salsa? So with tequila. So that's on the beverage side. You can work backwards from that. And for me, it's combining 2 or 3 of our salsas to create a new one. So what's my favorite? You create 2 or 3 and then mix them up or not. So you have a bowl. You put one salsa on there. You put the other one on top. So you have a combination. Chip, no salsa. Chip with one salsa, or chip with, or you mix it up a little bit. So you have different taste profiles in one bowl, 2 salsas and a chip.
So again, for us, the habanero chip, it will have, and I'm going to leave a chip up here with some taqueria avocado sauce. And then for the thick chip, we're going to leave one chip over here with the guacamole for a person who would like to try this.
Great. Well, thank you so much for sharing your story and your salsa. We appreciate it. We're loving all this beautiful food that we're getting to see. And now some lucky volunteers are going to actually get to try these pairings. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so that was torture for me because I'm very hungry. However, as we welcome back the salsa makers back on stage, we're asking for a couple of volunteers if anybody would like to try the items that we have today. So we're going to do one taster per salsa maker. So one person is going to try, will get to choose a dish from Kuali. One will get to try one from one burrito as well, and then one of the chip pairings as well. So we're going to do one of each. So can we get some hands? I'm afraid everyone's hand is going to. Okay, I saw a hand right here. You were over there.
In the back.
Who did you?
All the way in the back. Yes.
I'm so hungry. My yes. Cool. And then one more.
Do you want?
Oh, I see. There's like fighting hands here. Let's choose you right over there.
Okay, and while our very lucky volunteers come up, please come up. You can also go to the tables that the vendors have set up on the sides if you want to start, getting some salsa ready to go home. Yes.
We'll get the volunteers over here. And originally our salsa makers weren't going to be up for this portion, but we decided to scare you so that we can have your reaction while you eat them.
Okay. So what is your name?
My name is Michaela.
This is Michaela. Thank you for volunteering.
So what would you like to try today? And we're gonna each have our dish, and we're gonna try them all at the same time, and we're gonna discuss the flavors. So go ahead and choose.
All right. I think I'll have one of these.
The Kuali? Okay.
Yeah, the mushroom.
The memela.
Yes.
Perfect.
Okay.
So we'll have that in front of you. So we'll put that in front of you for now.
No.
Oh, yeah. No, we're gonna do it at the same time.
Oh, yeah.
All good. So what's your name and what would you like to try?
Hi, I'm Natasha, and I'm going to look at the guacamole.
Okay.
Amazing. Great.
Great. Okay. So our third volunteer, you don't really get to choose, but it's going to be delicious.
So we have chicken and carne asada. So what's your name and which one would you like to try?
I'm Justin. I'll go carne asada.
Great.
Okay, that one is this one. I
Great.
think.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Thank you for that.
Yeah, some of this is the salsa that had cacahuetes or not.
Okay.
So we have
So
some questions.
Janine, okay, yes. Oh, well, I don't know. Sorry. Janine, the salsa on this memela is a green salsa. What is that? Okay. So
There's
this,
no cacahuetes?
no. Yeah.
Oh, yes. No, I only put a drizzle of the clásica, which is one you tried down there, and the salsa verde cruda. Yes. Yes.
Thank you.
A little, yes.
Okay. And this is a raw salsa verde. So that's sounds delicious. Okay. Any other questions before we dig in here?
They're just like, no, we want the food. Like, when can we eat?
Okay.
So dig right
Yes.
in and let us know what you think of the flavors. It's funny, I film myself eating for Instagram and it's less glamorous than it is, so I apologize in advance. Can we get them some tissues too?
Oh, yes, we could use some napkins.
Love that.
Yes, but yeah, take your time, savor it. I mean, you know, for the rest of you out there, the takeaway should be you can put salsa on just about anything. It is probably one of the more versatile foods out there. And yes, growing up in a Mexican household, you know, my mother would say, si no tiene chile, no puedo comer. Like, you have to have chile to eat. So that's how I grew up. And I just love all these different varieties, the different colors. Like, look at this green. I love that. Like, yeah.
I really hate that thing that servers do sometimes where they'll ask you how you're doing as soon as you take a bite at the restaurant. So how are you doing? How is your...
Really great. I never order the carne asada. I usually go for the chile verde or the fish burrito, pescado, and this is really bringing me back. It's fantastic.
So what's the, how is the, describe the salsa a little bit with the combination with the burrito. I know that's kind of a, you know, it's tasty, but.
I mean, one of my favorite salsas out there, especially when you get it fresh from the restaurant, and it's just adding like a, I don't know, a kind of nice complement to like the saltiness of the meat, and it's a perfect pairing, as the man said, made for the burrito. So
amazing. Chose right, apparently.
Okay, Natasha, how's your tasting going?
I'm not sorry. I'm not sharing this. Really good. But the textures are spot on. Very chunky, especially with the habanero chip. It's a nice, subtle heat. Really good.
Great.
You stole my word with subtle heat. But this, the green salsa is definitely has that subtle heat. Really complements the mushrooms very well, and the beans, and then the drizzle of the salsa matcha on top is delicious.
Amazing. And again, if you are interested in trying the salsas that were not on your table, you get to try some of them at the respective tables afterwards. But let's have a round of applause for our volunteers who ate on stage.
You can
just take the plate, honestly.
Take it. Yeah, we'll come get it.
Yeah. Just enjoy it.
Yes.
It's meant to be enjoyed.
This way. So, I know. Okay.
And let's give one more round of applause to our salsa makers as well. This was amazing. And so we'll have you folks. Great. So, so that concludes our food proportion, our foods part of tonight. But of course, during this next part where we'll welcome Bululu onto the stage, please feel free to talk to the salsa makers and get to know their salsas and purchase some product as well. But as Bululu sets up the stage for their little 4-hour salsa dance party, I'm going to welcome a couple of them to the front of the stage here. So let's give a round of applause to Lali, Sofia, and Omar. So Bululu, led by Venezuelan-born percussionist Lali Mejia, is a dynamic band blending folkloric rhythms from Venezuela, Colombia, Cuba, and the Caribbean. Known for their thrilling mix of calypso, salsa, cumbia, and more, the band also stands out for its inclusive identity with a majority of female members and strong support of the LGBT plus community as well. So just to get, of course, we're going to hear you folks in a little bit and get to know you through your music, of course. But just to get us started, can you tell us a little bit more about Bululu and how it started and what inspired you to bring your sound to life?
Thank you, Josh. Well, for us, it's a pleasure to be here and an honor, really, to be among this group of alchemists of the salsa, of the Bay Area salsa makers. So in the same spirit, the project Bululu, or the ensemble Bululu, was formed in the Bay Area some 7 years ago. And I'm personally from Venezuela. I was born in Venezuela. I've been in the Bay Area for a long time, 30 years. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Paloma. Okay, now everyone can hear me. Yeah, so my name is Lali. It's a pleasure to be here. And Bululu started 7 years ago, right here in the heart of the Bay Area, really with the motivation of bringing music from the Caribbean, from different places of the Caribbean. And having been a Bay Area resident and musician for almost 30 years now, next year will be 30 years, I really felt the need of fronting a project of my own. I have been a freelancer musician for many years, played in different projects with different bands. And here in the Bay Area, we're lucky because we actually get to experience music from the world. And we get to experience audiences that welcome music from the world in all of its manifestations and art form. So in Bululu's case, our, say, focus or emphasis or wheelhouse or sweet spot, as you may wish to call it, is music from El Caribe, from countries like Venezuela, Colombia, República Dominicana, un poquito de Puerto Rico. So it's a big combination, a big concoction of sounds and colors and tastes and flavors.
Amazing.
Thank you.
So one thing to me is that both, of course, the food and the music, salsa to me is very timeless, right? And I've been noticing a moment with younger audiences. So for example, I think it was just last week, songs like El Gran Varón were really resonating with younger audiences. And like Brujeria by El Gran Combo was going viral a little bit on TikTok. So why do you think salsa is resonating with such a young audience? Because sometimes when I think of Latin music resonate with younger audiences, it's like a lot of reggaeton, right? So it's like, why do you think salsa is resonating with this younger audience?
Well, I would let my co-founder of Bululu and percussionist Omar Ledesma Jr. answer that for us.
Hi everybody. Well, I think there is a new young generation that actually are missing a little part of what really salsa is, and listening, this new generation listening this music, it actually makes them connect with their roots. So this music is 50, 60, 70 years old of tradition of the Afro-Cuban music in United States, probably longer than that, obviously, but specifically the music that is connected with salsa. And yes, now we have a young generation, young people listening this music, discovering el lenguaje español, so figuring out what the lyric is saying, what that means, what it means about what is the relationship between food and what is called salsa and what rhythms we play on that. So we have this new generation with all these questions, and I think this music making a big role telling them that we have a message and we still have it. So it's good for them to discover that through the music. Like you say, listening El Gran Combo, listening Willie Colon, Ruben Blades, all these big artists. I think this is important that they discover in that music, and I'm really proud that as a recording artist for 35 years, recording some of the music and making them listening, that is, I think we are having a very important role, passing the torch to the new generation in this music.
I love that. That's beautiful.
Thank you.
And so my last question is, just to tie everything together, with the salsas that we tried today, if you were to match them up to either one of your tracks or perhaps like an instrument that you played that you'll be showing tonight, how would you match them up?
Wow.
What about Sophia answered that?
Oh, yeah.
Sure. Well, first of all, they were all so delicious. Like, wow, I can pick one, but the flavor of the three of them reminds us of this one tune that you're gonna hear soon called Eldita y su Sazón. It's a tribute to this Cuban woman who used to cook all the time delicious food with all the flavors and also danced to the rhythm of salsa a lot. And so it kind of just signifies what this event is about, honoring the mixtures of and ingredients of Latin America and also salsas and enjoying it in any way, just like salsa music as well. So Eldita y su Sazón, you'll listen to it very soon.
Amazing. Well, I got a preview of them earlier, and I'm so excited for you guys to hear them. While they're playing music, feel free to use this space to dance. Feel free to talk to the salsa makers, hang out, have a good time, eat more salsa, and dance the salsa as well. But without further ado, let's give a round of applause to Bululu.
Thank you, Josh.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Dance.
All right, y'all. While we give a few seconds for Bululu to finish setting up, remember this is now a salsa party. So now you got a chance to eat salsa. Now you're gonna get a chance to dance salsa. So once the music starts, we hope that you feel comfortable enough to come up here and get your dance on. Thank you for being here.
Hey, welcome. I'm so excited to be here. Now it's time to dance all the salsa with Bululu. Eldita goza su son, entre sus calderitos y baila, le pone especie a lo que baila, a su guaracha y a su lechón, de la villa de Santa Clara, venezolana de corazón, es un purruño de sabrosura, buen paladar e imaginación.
Eldita, ahí tiene su son, malanga amarilla con chicharrón.
Sazón de Eldita rico con gris, y te lo baila con mucho ají.
Eldita, ahí tiene su swing, mojo con yuca, puerco y changüí.
Sazón de Eldita baila su son, que ella te adoba tu corazón. Ajá. Eso. Sóplalo. Saca un aroma de la cocina que vuelve loca hasta la vecina. Y un condimento lleva a los pies que así lo mires, tú no lo ves. Ay, Eldita cuando cocina, baila con Benny en su bocina. Mientras Marina prime y sazona, trío Matamoro también se asoma.
Eldita, ahí tiene su son, malanga amarilla con chicharrón.
Sazón de Eldita rico con gris y te lo baila con mucho ají.
Eldita, ahí tiene su swing, mojo con yuca, puerco y changüí.
Sazón de Eldita baila su son, que ella te adoba tu corazón. Ajá.
club de quieta La Habana, tocino, ají y mucho bongo. Deleita su dama cubana, la clave de su cocina. 2 picas, sal y 3 de limón, aunque depende de que le sepa. Son 3 de orégano y 2 de amor.
Ahí tiene su son, malanga amarilla con chicharrón.
Sazón del Lita rico con gris y te lo baila con mucho ají.
Geldita, ahí tiene su swing, mojo con yuca, puerco y changüí.
Sazón del Lita baila su son, que ella te adoba tu corazón.
Eso.
Ay, Geldita. Dímelo y
Ay, Geldita, pásame la recetica.
ay, Geldita, no seas así. Mi vida, pásame la receta.
Ay, Geldita, pásame la recetica.
Le pone especial a lo que baila, su lechón y a la guaracha, mamá.
Ay, Geldita, pásame la recetica.
La pica en maña y una de ají, y no me queda, ay no, igual que a ti.
Ay, Geldita, pásame la recetica.
Pero ven, Geldita, pasa la receta.
Ay, Geldita, pásame la recetica.
Ay,
Pásamela.
Geldita, tráeme a mí el picadillo que tanto bailan aquí.
Ay, Geldita, pásame la recetica. Pásamela.
Con montuno y con papelón, me adereza tu corazón.
Ay, Geldita, pásame la recetica.
No
Pásamela.
más prisa que despacito, su meneíto sabe sabroso.
Geldita, ahí tiene su swing, mojo con yuca, puerco y changüí.
Sazón del Lita baila su son, ella te adoba tu corazón.
Muchísimas gracias, everyone. Such a delight to be here with you today and really celebrating the work of these remarkable salsa makers in the Bay Area. What a passion, what grit, what zestiness to life. So, we opened our set on the island of Cuba, as Sofia told us earlier, with a song titled El Dita en su Sazón. And we're going to move into the eastern coast of Colombia and Venezuela, where the frontier meets, for a porro guarachero titled Glass Half Full, or Vaso Medio Lleno.
Caminando por el centro me encuentro a Carlos David. Saluda con un lamento y no puede sonreír. Le digo que fue mi brother, la jornada no es así. Sácale brillo a lo bueno, que el sol sale para ti.
Vaso medio lleno o vaso medio vacío.
Un vaso con 2 caras y puedo escoger el mío.
Vaso medio lleno o vaso medio vacío.
Apuéstale a lo bueno, activa ya tu camino. Captura los buenos tiempos y ponle fin a las quejas. Las piedras en tu camino son plumas de moraleja. Que la vida mía tan dura que va tremendo tejismo. El vaso está medio lleno y es lo que ves en ti mismo.
Vaso medio lleno o vaso medio vacío.
Un vaso con 2 caras y puedo escoger el mío.
Vaso medio
Apuéstale a lo bueno, activa ya tu camino. Si amaneces en blanco y negro, sonriente de mil colores. Es un vaso de dos caras, esperando a ver qué escoges. Si amaneces en blanco y negro, sonriente de mil colores. Ródeate de lo que sume y rápate esos rapones. Si amaneces en blanco y negro, sonriente de mil colores. Al mal tiempo, buena cara, contando tus bendiciones. Si amaneces en blanco y negro, sonriente de mil colores. Enfócate en lo que vale, de pena salen canciones. Oye, pero qué tan chévere que está. Sí, sí, oye la palito, limpia solemne que no se empañe. Todo lo bueno de tu día y sacaré a la negra que llena todos los días. Oye, ajá, ese vasito que traes tú, que lo llena con Bululu, eso es. Un porro maracayero, gozando, bailando y siempre bailando, sacándole brillo a lo bueno.
Muchísimas gracias. Thank you to all our dancers. Fantastic. Don't go anywhere.
Bueno, esto es un homenaje al Santo Negro de Palermo. Repícame tamborero, la fiesta ya ha comenzado. El Santo Negro ha escapado con todos los chimbangleros. Repícame tamborero, la fiesta ya ha comenzado. El Santo Negro ha escapado con todos los chimbangleros.
San Benito se escapó bien temprano de la catedral. Chimbanglero con él van a tocar. La fiesta del Santo Negro empezó. San Benito,
Suena tu tambor,
chimbanglero,
suena lo mejor.
San Benito,
Oye, mira San Benito,
Chimbanglero,
la fiesta de tu tambor.
San Benito se escapó bien temprano de la catedral. Chimbanglero con él van a tocar. La fiesta del Santo Negro empezó. San Benito,
Suena tu tambor,
chimbanglero,
suena lo mejor.
San Benito,
San Benito, como baila,
chimbanglero,
acompañe mi tambor. Al negrito van bailando al son de los chimbangleros y de ron lo van bañando todos los sanbeniteros. Al negrito van bailando al son de los chimbangleros y de ron lo van bañando todos los sanbeniteros, mi compadre.
San Benito se escapó bien temprano de la catedral. Chimbanglero con él van a tocar. La fiesta del Santo Negro empezó. San Benito,
Suena tu tambor,
chimbanglero,
suena lo mejor.
San Benito,
Oye, mira San Benito,
chimbanglero,
San Benito, chimbanglero, mi compadre.
San Benito se escapó bien temprano de la catedral. Chimbanglero con él van a tocar. La fiesta del Santo Negro empezó. San Benito,
La fiesta del Santo Negro. Oye, mira Venezuela,
San Benito,
yo te traigo caballero,
chimbanglero,
el mambo de lo mejor. Y dice que San Benito.
la fiesta de lo mejor. San Benito se escapó bien temprano de la catedral. Chimanglero con él van a tocar. La fiesta del Santo Negro empezó. San Benito. Pero que mira salsa y lo mejor para San Benito. San Benito. Oye mira chimanglero. Chimanglero. No traigo negro bendito.
San Benito se escapó bien temprano de la catedral. Chimanglero con él van a tocar. La fiesta del Santo Negro empezó. San Benito.
Suena tu tambor.
Chimanglero.
Suena lo mejor.
San Benito.
Oye mira San Benito.
Chimanglero.
Suena lo mejor. Muchas gracias.
And that was Omar Ledesma Jr. on lead vocals from Caracas, Venezuela.
Bululu.
La noche se despliega con fértil exuberancia, con suave de roller, ya ligan las circunstancias, abril de repartidores, movidas sin sentimiento, señuelo de tres colores, cuidado que te lleva el viento.
Oh, oh, camarón, asume tu suerte con Porte León. Oh, oh, camarón, asume tu suerte con Porte León.
Ababanque, sin city, sin un real, aquí vienes a triunfar con Santos en tu arsenal.
Ababanque, sin city, sin un real.
Aquí vienes a triunfar con Santos en tu arsenal. La ruleta de figura, francesa vil ambiciosa, si bailas en su rotonda, mira, te engancha como una rosa. Entrégate al casillero o a la vidente de turno, mira que siempre hay un chance que te guía sea el tuyo.
Oh, camarón, asume tu suerte con Porte León. Oh, camarón, asume tu suerte con Porte León.
Ababanque,
Sin city, sin un real.
aquí vienes a triunfar con Santos en tu arsenal.
Ababanque, sin city, sin un real.
Aquí vienes a triunfar con Santos en tu arsenal. Ajá.
¿Quién será el token de tu suerte? ¿Y qué precio irá a ponerte?
Sin estrategia ni fundamento, lo que aquí manda experimento.
¿Quién será el token de tu suerte? ¿Y qué precio irá a ponerte?
Y juega la mano imposible sin comodines a tu favor.
¿Quién será el token de tu suerte? ¿Y qué precio irá a ponerte?
Cuando la potra viene picada, el que reparte saca la tarta quemada.
Token de tu suerte. ¿Y qué precio irá a ponerte?
Y por quererte saltar la banca, no pudiste evadir la trampa del corazón.
Muchísimas gracias. That was an original from the band called El Token de tu Suerte, the token of your good luck, and it was written in the style of New York salsa from the 70s. Excellent. Well, nos vamos a Venezuela de nuevo. ¿Sí?
Bueno, señoras y señores, nos vamos a la tierra venezolana de nuevo. Este es un éxito muy popular. Levante la mano quien habla español aquí, o solamente soy yo. Ok. Y esta canción es un hit de Venezuela y se llama Amparito. Quise a Barranquilla, conocí una linda colombiana, me quedé con las ganas de casarme con esa chiquilla. En un viaje quise a Barranquilla, conocí una linda colombiana y me quedé con las ganas de casarme con esa chiquilla. Ay, hombre.
Amparito, Amparito,
te olvidaste del negrito, tu caraqueñito. Ajá. Me creía el mundo dueño, pero todo era un sueño.
Amparito,
¿y dice qué?
Amparito, estaba pensando que tal vez buscando por toda Colombia me estaba esperando.
¿Y por qué?
Porque yo pensaba que me idolatraba con el corazón.
Amparito baila con soltura cuando escucha este ritmo, mi hermano. Ella dice que el venezolano ahí sí tiene fuego en la cintura. Amparito baila con soltura cuando escucha este ritmo, mi hermano. Ella dice que el venezolano ahí sí tiene fuego en la cintura. Ay, hombre.
Amparito, Amparito,
quiero sentarme contigo en la hierbita y decirte linda, linda, linda cosita.
Amparito, Amparito,
me creí del mundo dueño, pero todo era un sueño.
Amparito, Amparito,
¿y dice qué?
estaba pensando que tal vez buscando por toda Colombia me estaba esperando.
¿Por qué?
Porque yo pensaba que me idolatraba con el corazón.
¡Rurru!
¡Ajá! Amparito,
Oye, dame el coro bonito, pero que mira que linda, linda Amparito.
Amparito, Amparito,
Quiero sentarme contigo en la hierbita y decirte linda, 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 linda cosita.
Amparito, Amparito,
Oye, mira que Amparito, 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 no te confundas con Consuelito.
Amparito, Amparito,
Sopla, llegó el trombón.
Amparito, Amparito,
Oye, mira, mira qué linda Amparito, pero que mira cosa buena, qué rico.
Amparito, Amparito,
Me creí del mundo dueño, pero todo era un sueño.
Amparito,
Y me voy, ¿por qué?
Amparito, te estaba pensando que tal vez buscando por toda Colombia me estaba esperando. Porque yo pensaba que me idolatraba con el corazón.
Y para Venezuela, Amparito, aunque mal pague. Thank you, everybody.
Muchísimas gracias. It's been a pleasure to bring out the colors, the flavors, the energy, the zestiness of salsa music, paired with some beautiful, beautiful salsas from Mexico. Muchísimas gracias, de verdad. What a treat. What a treat. Thank you, KQED, for the invitation. It's been an honor being on the stage and on this beautiful building today. Thank you very much for having us, Bululu. We hope to keep in touch. Have a wonderful holiday season, everyone. Thank you.
¿Ustedes quieren salsa? I can hear you. ¿Ustedes quieren salsa? So you didn't get enough? Okay, vamos a ponerle más salsa, Lali.
Okay. So that's a trade-off. You gotta come out here and fill in the space. And let's dance to a last tune. Fuego, fuego.
Don't be afraid. No tenga miedo. Aquí no mordemos.
Let's do it.
Come on, salsero. You know this song. Vamos a bailar. Aquí oficialmente hay salseros. Sé que tú no quieres que yo a ti te quiera. Siempre tú me esquivas de alguna manera. Si te busco por aquí, me sales por allá. Lo único que yo quiero, no me hagas sufrir más. Supera la 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 la. Vamos a San Francisco. Bululú. Por tu mal comportamiento te vas a arrepentir. Bien caro tendrás que pagar, mujer, todo mi sufrimiento. Llorarás y llorarás sin nadie que te consuele. Así te darás tu cuenta que si te engañan duele. Sa la 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 la. Cuidado como yo, Oscar. Oye bien, y después vendrás a mí pidiéndome perdón, pero ya mi corazón no se acuerda más de ti. Llorarás y llorarás sin nadie que te consuele. Así te darás tu cuenta que si te engañan duele. Rurú. Ponle picante, que llegó la salsa. Campana, campanero, ahora. Llorarás, llorarás, llorarás. Como lo sufrí yo. Oye, tú llorarás. Nadie
ahora yo voy a vivir mi vida como yo quiera. El amor y el interés se fueron al campo un día. El amor y el interés se fueron al campo un día. Y más pudo el interés, el amor que le tenía. Llora que llora, llora. Llora que llora, llora. Ahora yo voy a vivir mi vida como yo quiera, mamá. Llévate los vientos de agua. Muchas gracias, Bululu.
Muchísimas gracias, San Francisco, KQED, Salsa Makers. What a pleasure. Happy holidays.
Oh no. Let's, am I mic'd? Am I on here? Let's have another round of applause for Bululu. Another round of applause. So just last remarks. This is amazing, by the way. I want to do this like every week. Thank you to everybody that joined us tonight. Shout out to our 3 salsa makers, Bululu, our AV team, of course, KQED Live, and those of you watching online. Another big round of applause.
Muchas gracias a todos por acompañarnos esta noche y por ser parte de esta experiencia. Que tengan muy buena noche. Join KQED Live for our next event, which is Dating with Daya, the 55 plus edition. That is next Tuesday, December 10th, here at this location. And please remember to subscribe to Que Onda and The Sauce. Stay up to date on all the amazing coverage. And thank you all. This was an amazing night. Buenas noches.
Thanks, everybody.